Hi, good morning, welcome to the Poleship News and the Maverickstar Observatory. Guys, I've got something in this video to reveal to you, and I think it's going to make the hairs stand up on the back of your neck. As you know, it's the 17th of the month, and on this day we usually take the SD cards out of the TriMag system and the magnetosphere sensor, and we process that data. I've just been going through that data, and I've spotted something that we've never recorded before. And I really do feel like ringing up the European Space Agency, obviously the department in charge of the Swarm mission, and just cross-referencing our data with theirs, if they would allow that sort of thing to take place. I doubt it very much. And just say to them, guys, are you picking up the same as what we're picking up with regards to the activity over the northern hemisphere of this planet right now? There's some big activity, guys. And we're going to get into that in just a little while. I just want to, as usual, thank those people that are supporting this observatory. We are now starting to collect data from all over the world, and that has been solely down to a very small amount of people. And guys, I just want to say to you guys that are probably thinking about supporting us either on the Patreon account or a one-off PayPal donation. It's worth it, guys. This anomaly that is taking place is already affecting your lives, and it's going to affect it even more so in the coming probably months and years, and we're not far away from that magnetic reversal. It could be between 5 and 7 years, but meantime, guys, it is going to affect your lives directly. So I can only say it is a detriment that we keep the funding coming in for this channel, observatory and website. And for pretty much most people, it's free. But it can't remain free of not support, guys. So that the links are down there. Okay, let's have a look at what we've got to show you. Okay, so I really don't want to bore people with just raw data, and I want to try and make it interesting so that you can see what it is that we're trying to bring out and show you. So I'll just go through it. I know I've gone through this a few times with you guys, and I'll try and be brief. Okay, so in column A, it's the TriMag, number 1. Column B is the heading, and then in column C we have the hours, the minutes in D, in E the seconds, and then in F we've got the 17th of the day of the month, and then in the next one it's the 4th, so this is April, but it does go into May because obviously we take it from the 17th of April to the 17th of May, which is today. So further down the line, the list of these numbers, and there is probably about 500,000 readings, because the resolution that we're observing the magnetic North Pole is very high. It's every 3 seconds. It's probably more data than what we need to collect, but by doing it like this, guys, we detected around Christmas time, and for a few months after, some magnetic jet movement under probably that large crustal area over the northern hemisphere. So okay, so and then obviously in the last column we've got 2019. I don't need to explain what that is to you. So you can also see at the top of these charts there's little arrows, and these are filters, so I can filter different segments of information. So if I just click on the heading, which is what we're really interested in, because we know if it starts to go up in numbers from 10 degrees is when it was calibrated and set up, and as you can see a lot of the readings now are well over 10 degrees. So I'm going to show you the filter so you'll see what the lowest range was and what the highest range was. Now if it goes higher than 10 degrees, the magnetic North Pole is tracking west. If it goes below 10 degrees, it's tracking east. So here's what the results of the last month are. So if I just click on that, right, so you can see now the filter. Now we can see that the lowest reading the TriMag system took was 7.58 degrees, and the highest was 12.99 degrees, nearly 13 degrees. Guys, I have never seen the magnetic pole in nearly 2 years now, I think, of having this in operation. I have never seen the magnetic North Pole deviate in 1 month over 5 degrees. Let me put that into perspective, right? A 5 degree shift from 7.58 degrees to 12.99 degrees is equivalent to 250 miles. and the magnetic North Pole has been moving 250 miles in one direction and back over the last 30 days. If we're getting lazy poles over the northern hemisphere of this Earth, it's a sign that the Earth could be gearing up to migrate. I said, you know, according to my theory and some of the work I've done on weak and strong field lines, that if it starts to behave like this, it only does this sort of behaviour on the rocking and the cusp of that 40-degree marker. If that's the case, it isn't going to be long. I would say probably we could see before the end of this year. We could see it take place over the next couple of years. But it's going to migrate, guys. It's getting weaker and it's starting to get lazy and it's starting to move about, and you only see this behaviour on or around about that 40-degree mark, and that is the 40-degree mark is the line between the strong field lines and the weak field lines, and if it crosses that 40-degree mark, it will be in the weak field lines, and it will from that point on shift. You know, I'm interested in our first month's data that's coming from the United States, because what we're looking at is more in particular the Canadian pole with those two magnetometers. I know we're studying it not even in Canada, but we're looking at the intense region of Canada. So guys, you know, if that doesn't make the hair stand on the back of your neck, then you are, you know, you're in a coma. Because, you know, I mean, I shouldn't say this, but I mean, what an exciting time, guys, for us to be seeing this. I'm going to be putting the charts on the TriMag on the website, and also the magnetosphere, but it's unbelievable. And by no mistake, these readings are, guys, because we have multiple readings at these degrees. So, you know, it is by no mistake taking place. You know, a 250-mile shift of the magnetic pole from one direction to the other. You know what? It tracked east for a good portion of time, and then it tracked back over to the west as far as it's gone before. We haven't yet hit 13 degrees, but we're going to very shortly. You know, exciting times, guys. That's why some of you guys support this observatory, because we're bringing you the data like no other organisation is on this planet right now, and we're collecting this data now internationally. It is a time, guys, to start supporting our channel for this reason alone. So guys, as you can see from the chart, I've uploaded the chart now onto the website, so you can go and have a look at Pole Shift News and compare it with all the other charts, but you'll see straight away that this month, over the course of the 308,000 readings or so, or thereabouts, you know, that we've taken, you'll see that there's been a massive uptick in the behaviour of the magnetic poles over the northern hemisphere. And, you know, you've only got to compare it with the others to see that this has been slowly, you know, although not as severe as, you know, this month's reading, but it has been slowly picking up. You can see it clearly on the data ranging from the 17th of the 2nd, so in January, February, you could see there was a little bit of movement here, but not quite as dramatic as what we've got right now. But over the months that are leading up to right now, you can see that there's been a bit more activity. And I know that the hour lines, these zigzags on here, doesn't make it very clear for you to see that data. And the other thing is here is, you've got to remember, is that we've got such a lot of resolution in on these charts. I mean, there is 308,422 separate parts of information. You know, each one is a single data collection of a third second, but you can see, you know, clearly on here that the range in which the magnetic pole is deviating now is well over 250 miles. So that's a great deal. Guys, just want to quickly, before we go, show you the magnetosphere data, because something unique has been taking place with that. I've had to bring the range down a little bit, because some reason I was transferring from Excel to Word, and then I just photoshopped the screen and then, you know, shrink it to the size I need it for the website. But I had to bring it down on the scale by 1 point. As you can see, usually the scale goes up to 205, but the reason why I did that is because it kept putting the data sets at individual increments on the left hand column. And what I wanted to show you is the magnetosphere strength is up over 200 nanoteslas, and you can see it crosses clearly that line. Now, we calibrated this at 198 and it's gone up for some reason, and not only has it gone up, it's stayed up. So there's something happening to our magnetosphere on our Earth right now, has been for almost a month, as you can see on this chart, and there's also a lot of movement in the magnetic North Pole. It'd be interesting just in about 3 weeks time to get that data from Australia, because I'm just inquisitive as to what's taking place with the intensity region that we're monitoring down there, and also to get some data over the next 3 weeks back from the United States, so we can see what's going on with that shrinking high intensity region over Canada right now. You know, guys, it's all happening, and this is what we set up this observatory to look at. And the other thing is, it is silent out there. Nobody is saying anything from these big organisations, but if our equipment is picking up this, theirs has got to be. But they ain't saying nothing, and I think it's because they don't want to cause alarm. Like I said, guys, this is the only data that you can't get like anything else. We can see photos of the sun from stereo A, stereo B, front and back. We can see sunspot activity. They broadcast it like it's free for all to see. But you try and get hold of magnetic data on this planet and the activity relating to that, it is like gold dust. Well, you know what, guys? You've got a little gold mine in this channel on YouTube, and you've got a gold mine on the website called Pole Shift News. And you know what, guys? The only other thing I want to say is, I'm really excited that our equipment is doing a fantastic job. And the only thing I could wish for more is a couple of people to come forward to take their magnetometers off us that we want in the regions that I mentioned the other day. I don't think I've got my list, but it was India off the top of my head, the Philippines, maybe Bangladesh. That would put it right in the track, but around that region, if you're willing to take one off us, or you live in around about those regions, give me a shout on Skype, Gene Beards, and we'll link up on Skype and try and see about getting one of these magnetometers sent out to you. I said once I got these next two out, guys, I was going to focus then on the cloud generator. I want to get that finished so we can see actual live footage of cosmic rays going through the chamber, and you get a good visualization of what it is that's on the increase on our Earth's surface right now, with regards to there being a low solar output that allows more cosmic radiation in, and a weakening magnetosphere, although it has gone up in strength over the last month. But we don't know quite what is going on there. It might be an entanglement of the magnetic field, and that's why it's peaking a little bit. But there is definitely something going on, guys. Absolutely, definitely. And the activity is increasing. Like I say, I can't say 100% because I think it's a little bit early. It'd be wrong for me to do that, but I do think that we are gearing up possibly to move into those weak field lines, and if that is the case, the show's about to start. Guys, the link's down there. Start supporting us, please. Come on, there's only 150 or less people supporting us on Patreon. Can you believe that? And what we're delivering, there should be 1,000 people on there, guys. The only thing that slows our operation down there is cash flow. It was only because we had a generous person, last week and this week, make a donation that enabled us to get on the road, get down to Felixstowe, and dig those old magnetometer chips out of Andy's stock, because we couldn't fix the program relating to the ID address on the the new chips. But we're not by any means holding back. I am gearing up now and ordering stuff to get on with the Mark IIs, which are going to include GPS modules, They're going to have wireless communication to people's routers. They're going to be self-calibrating. They're all singing, all dancing magnetometers, and they're also going to be monitoring the temperature of the instruments in the actual unit. It's going to monitor the barometric pressure, and it's going to give us real-time date stamping because we're using satellite, GPS. Guys, come on. I just need some support. I mean, I really put the effort in on this channel. The other day when I went down to Felixstowe, me and Andy both got 2 hours sleep out of nearly 36 hours. That's how much effort we put in. Come on, all we need is some support. We really need to boost the patron efforts. We need to get some more funding coming in on PayPal. And with all what's going on, as you can see, it is on the move. This is the time, guys, to now back us, really, because we need to be focusing on these big changes that are happening, because the magnetic poles of this earth aren't just where your compasses point. It's going to come to light that magnetism with relation to these poles is really the pinnacle of planetary mechanics. It's going to be looked on in the future that, what is the most important thing with regards to habitable planets? It's got to be magnetic poles first, because if it's got magnetic poles, it's got a magnetosphere. If it's got a magnetosphere, that protects the atmosphere. If it's got an atmosphere, there is very much likely liquid water on that planet. That's how you look for planets in other parts of our universe, guys. It's going to come to light. Trust me on that. They are going to be focusing more on the planetary magnetism than anything else in the future. And you know what? You've only got to look at what has been happening with the last 30 years of migration on this planet, and what's taken place on this planet with regards to the climate and how much it's changed. You can run a correlation between the migration of the poles, and that would probably start with the events changing on this planet. So guys, link is down there. I hope the hairs have stood up on the back of your neck today, and that you realise that we are on the precipice of going through some massive changes. Links are down there, guys. Get behind us, start supporting us. I'll say what I usually do. Bye for now. Enjoy your weekend.